Dice Company contains fantasy violence, mature themes, and unapologetic bickering. No feelings were hurt in the making of it, but listener discretion is advised. Dice Company will always be free, but it's not free to make. Please consider supporting us on Patreon or Apple Podcasts and get access to our weekly roundtable show Extra Roll. Just follow any of the links in the show notes for this chapter.
Welcome one and all to Dice Company, where a group of old friends weave tales of triumph, heroism and despair under the guise of playing Dungeons and Dragons. My name is Tom, and I'll be your DM through the continuing adventures of this band of Lothar Ja'Neth battling legends. Lothar Ja'Neth battling legends, please introduce yourselves and tell the audience one fun fact about your characters.
I think we'll take that. Hi, my name's Charlie, and I play Vander Finnick. Vander is sad because he has run out of exotic cheroots. And that is what he uses to medicate the excruciating pain he is constantly in. But Vander is hopeful because he may have found something better. He, when taking the healing potion, felt a calming sensation through his entire body, and many of his aches and pains just melt away. Now, technically, he is out of healing potion, but he knows that the party still have some.
This feels like the D&D equivalent of getting like hooked on painkillers after you. It's very very peculiar.
It just is that, right? That is exactly what's happening here.
That is what's happening. And it's interesting that you're jumping in there because I believe you are the only person with healing potion.
Yes, I am, and I'm going to be very careful of who gets it.
You're also the only member of the group who's hooked on painkillers.
Enable him.
Yeah, enable me.
I cast enable.
I shall not. And not because I'm saving them in case I get injured, but to help you, to help yourself, Charlie/Vander.
That feels like condescension.
Well, no, it's just an excuse for my selfishness, wanting to keep all my own potions.
It's a 10 out of 10 for honesty, I guess.
Yeah, excellent. We'll keep an eye on Vander. I mean, there's a lot of reasons we're keeping an eye on Vander. We'll just add it to the list.
It's actually difficult to keep track of all of the list, isn't it?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Dave, and I play Bennie Quez. My fact today is a bit of lore, because I don't tend to go in for much lore, so I thought I'd try and make a change. So, as we've established, Bennie learned to read by reading the Chronicles of the Fellowship of Cantioch, famed adventurers from years ago. The Fellowship consisted of Bregan Braxenax, an exiled dwarf with a large hammer, Fila, a former slave seeking vengeance on those who captured him, and who can shape change into animal form, Tebzug, a half-orc forced to leave his tribe, searching for his father, Gargrun Ironfist, a dwarf living with the god Isidor's voice in his head, Trugast Sage Whisper, a charismatic sorcerer imbued with a draconic bloodline, and Askarl, a gentleman from Denothlia, quick-thinking and light-fingered. This group met in the village of Muckburn in the north of Cantioch. Hired to complete a simple job, they soon found themselves battling goblins and investigating the mysterious local legend of the Hollow Man.
Some good lore there.
Lore.
So, obvious questions are, which one of the Fellowship of Cantioch is Benny's favourite?
Good question. Benny's favourite is...
Difficult when you hate them all equally.
Difficult when you can't remember which one Mickey played.
Gargrin.
It's okay. As a fighting class fan, the other guys were a little bit more appealing. Let's put it that way. You can be honest.
Well, I never actually met Gargrin. I think he came along a little bit. Yeah, no, because we crossed paths in the first episode, didn't we? He came along a bit later. My favourite was Tebzug, the half-orc who would go into a frenzy and crush everything in sight.
Yeah, barbarians are crazy. Like, I think we probably would have had more TPKs if it wasn't for, like, just in the first episode. And the other question would be, how did the Chronicles of Cantioch end in the book Benny read?
Well, there will be more facts to follow, won't there?
He tried to R.R. Martin you.
I have got facts lined up for like 2 or 3 weeks that I don't have to worry about now.
Good work. Hi, my name's Mickey, and I play Shaq. Interesting fact about Shaq. Around 24 years ago, there was a fierce and flamboyant general of the empire known as General Malachi Urasso. Malachi was sent to the southern continents as a fighting emissary to regain order in the region. General Malachi and the 98th Cavalry made it to the foothills of the furthest mountains. There, they unexpectedly ran into the region's most feared war band. The general, outwitted, tried to negotiate, but negotiations broke down quickly, and every member of the cavalry was overwhelmed, quickly stripped, put in chains and sent to the mountains to be part of the horde's winter rations. General Malachi and his entire cavalry were never seen again, so were pronounced missing in action after a few years by the Empire. The 98th Cavalry's prestigious long-serving colours were also retired in a poignant ceremony. And the interesting fact is, Shaq's outfit is actually General Malachi's evening suit, which the general was wearing the night of his capture. And Shaq doesn't know any of this. He thinks that this was a gift given to him by his mother, which is why he's got an emotional bond to his hat that always seems to fall off.
It took a real right turn towards the end. I was like, this is some phenomenal lore going on right here. I love it. And then just sharp right, completely out of the box. Fantastic
Excellent.
fact.
And it's not a sharp right, it's a barbarian right. It's blunt.
A Shaq right.
Yeah.
That was a lore drop from Orbit.
It was a lore drop from Orbit. I love it.
Hi, I'm Harry, playing Tok, an imposing 6'8" automaton, who's definitely very imposing. As we know, Tok doesn't sleep, but in the cave, there are no stars to look at. I don't know which one of the characters would have been the most observant during the night.
Vander technically doesn't really sleep, so I'm guessing it would be him.
Vander will have noticed that instead of staring at the stars, Tok has been talking quietly to the Obsidian Matrix. Obsidian Matrix has been talking back in rebuses, a pictogram puzzle where each picture refers to a word. So Vander may have tried to decipher several of them. A couple of examples that he saw was a bedsheet being spread by an out-of-focus humanoid. Another is a sound wave hitting a cliff wall, rebounding and reflecting back. And then very soon after, a gnome being studied in a scientific manner. The one would be a picture of a nondescript inn, then quickly a manhole cover that you recognize from a city, but you can't quite place it, and then ants crawling in a line. Another one is the mud wall at the side of a river, quickly followed by what looks like a mycelial network of fungus. And finally, it's quite a long one, is an image of many tiny dots that shifts into a tiny crawling insect that's latched onto skin and is slowly filling a blood sac. This changes into the face of the clerk we know from the Topaz Keep in Ovik. Then there's a slight pause. Then there's the picture of a sound wave hitting a cliff wall again, then a nondescript gnome, and finally, a indistinct humanoid person pointing to themselves with a questioning expression on their face, clearly vocalizing a single syllable word.
There are people who had chugged a pint of acid who would struggle to be more random than that.
No further questions, Your Honor. Hello, I'm Alex, and I'm playing Augustus. And my fact this week is that after Augustus's father was assassinated, there was a bleak period back in Denoslia and in Augustus's home where no one really knew how to react. They sort of had the idea that it was Salazar and the Empire that were behind it, but obviously they'd just lost a war with them, so there was no easy way to kind of strike back. Augustus's sister Aurora made hints that Augustus ought to take some kind of action as the now first son of the household. And eventually, not being able to bear the kind of stillness and their kind of mother's quiet anymore, Aurora fronted this up with Augustus and asked him what he planned to do. Augustus said nothing, sort of dithering, unsure what he was going to do. And eventually, Aurora walked out and she left the next morning, and he has not seen her since.
Wow, that's quite sad, isn't it? So does Augustus feel some enduring sense of needing to put things right with Aurora? Is that kind of what's triggered his journey?
His sense of it is she felt he should have acted, or was at least giving him an opportunity to, to show some life, and that he was going to try and do something to strike back against the Empire. When it became clear to her that he was just going to dither forever, he supposes, decided to go herself across the sea and into the Empire to see what she could do. But obviously he hasn't heard from her in the 3 years since then.
So there's a little bit of guilt tied in with the whole thing now, because...
Well, a lot of guilt. I think he would view that had he said the right thing that night or shown that he had the courage to do something, then it would have meant she didn't have to take it on herself to do it. She might either have gone with him or let him go and do something about it.
Right, that's it. I'm Team Augustus. We're going to make that guy a paladin and we're going to save the goddamn day.
What do you make him a paladin? He's a great paladin.
Sure. We're getting there, buddy. We're getting there.
Yeah, you're good. You're pretty good.
Yeah.
You're getting there.
Keep going, Slugger.
Marvelous! I hope you're all ready to fight and fight again and keep on fighting, for only then can evil be kept at bay, though never quite eradicated, in the next chapter of Dice Company. Previously on Dice Company. Your fight through Lothar Ja'Neth's palace led you to defeat a ghost, fail to impersonate some zombies, find a new friend in the orc barbarian shack, and witness an actual zombie regicide. As you move closer to the heart of the palace, you entered a room with a short corridor and a sharp right turn, immediately after which is a large set of smashed-in double doors. From within the room you cannot see emanates a purple light and the gentle, distant sounds of bubbling lava. The zombie king's crown has just rolled to a stop at the end of the corridor as a voice rings out. 1, 2, 3, 4 makes 10. There is a pause and the voice speaks again. Why don't you come join us?
I don't like the sound of that.
You turn the corner and are met with a large laboratory. The air hangs heavy with the acrid scent of alchemical compounds, dimly lit by flickering candles ensconced within grotesque, blackened candelabras. The room reveals shelves upon shelves of ancient tomes and arcane scrolls. Vats of bubbling, viscous liquid emit an eerie glow, casting unsettling shadows that dance across the walls. Barrels of supplies marked with cryptic symbols line the perimeter of the room, but in the center, a large hole in the floor exposes a perilous drop into molten lava below. Suspended over the abyss are 5 orc warriors, the 13th Company, their bodies restrained by cruel chains. Unconscious and unaware, they hang like macabre puppets. Above them, a pointed arcane device hums with malevolent energy, projecting beams of mystical force directly into the heads of the restrained orcs. From below, similar energy rises up out of the hole, striking them in the face. Their bodies twitch involuntarily with double surge of magical energy. And there, at the far end of the laboratory, behind the bizarre pseudo-puppet show, stands Lothar Ja'Neth. Draped in purple robes adorned with symbols none of you recognize. His pale face and delicate features seem to dance and twist as he watches you enter. Beside him, an imposing lava mummy guards an ornate marble altar. The altar itself, stained with dark substances, seems to pulse with energy. Lothar's pale blue eyes gleam as you enter. Tok, having prepared magic pebbles before entering and handing vials of acid to Bennie, he and Tick then draw their swords and shields. With a wave of his sword, Augustus casts heroism over the automaton as Bennie takes the acid vials from Tok and dips 3 arrows into it. There is a yell from Shaq as the rage inside him bellows out, and Vander, with a wave of his hand, creates 3 perfect duplicates who emerge from his form and walk in step with him as you enter the room. Welcome, travelers, to our laboratory. We've been waiting for you for some time. Malar, fetch the actual 10th, and we can begin. Lothar Ja'Neth clicks his fingers, and simultaneously a blue door appears next to the lava mummy, and the mummy walks through it. Behind you, a rippling energy field blocks the empty doorframe. I've been trapped down here for so long, desperate to find a way out. And at last, I have. Once the ceremony has been performed, my living body, the matter, will be stripped away, leaving nothing but the energy of my soul. In such a form, I'll be able to pass through the sealing spell and escape. And all it takes is 10 meaningless souls, and I shall become the first ever Soulshard Hierophant.
Shit.
And with that, everything around him just gets upsetting. He just looks over at Lothar and screams with the most primeval scream you can possibly muster.
Tok remains quiet, but they both ready their shields and sort of wait on Shaq to make the first move before going forward, sort of in lockstep just behind him.
What's a soul shard? That sounds disgusting.
Pretty words, Lothar, but soon you'll be dead.
Augustus mutters Ember under his breath and says, "Come to my sword, creature."
Cyrax, the soul shield is up. We don't need them alive anymore. Why don't you come introduce yourself? From behind Lothar, a bubbling green fluid churns in a vat. An eerie glow emanates from its depths. The lid of the vat opens, and a massive form emerges dripping with viscous fluid. Like a sphere rising into the air, it spins as 10 stalks unfurl, each with an eye attached to the end. Although only 4 eyes appear to be open.
Oh, shit.
In the center of the creature, a large central set of eyelids open to reveal grotesque, large, milky white eye. Its disfigured eye stalks twitch and writhe as its putrid flesh clings tightly to its skeletal frame, and ghastly moans escape from its toothless maw. It hovers ominously for a moment, pivoting to take in its surroundings, ready to attack.
I fucking hate squids.
Roll initiative!
Oh, 20 for Vander.
A 3 for Tok.
9 for Augustus.
Yeah, I rolled a natural 1.
18 for Bennie.
And a disappointing 6 for Shaq.
And so we begin at the top of the round with Vander.
Vander is going to begin striding off to his right. As he does so, he fires magic missiles at Lothar. This is the Palace of Lies. Cut the wizard's head off. That's 12 damage.
With a wave of his cane, Vander summons 3 glowing red darts and fires them directly at Lothar. They ripple through the air, flying, intersecting one another in their path, and just as they're about to hit him, he casually raises a hand and a shield appears in front of him, absorbing all 3.
Vander and his identical copies look relatively accepting of that.
Relatively.
Yeah, they mutter to each other.
Lothar Ja'Neth is going to take one of his legendary actions at this point. Having raised the shield to stop the attack of the 3 magic missiles, Lothar laughs mirthlessly. That's a very good idea. And he waves his hands in a complex movement and pulls them out, and 3 identical copies of Lothar Ja'Neth step out from him as he casts Mirror Image.
All 3 Vanders turn their head to one side, as if thinking, that is a good idea.
So Bennie takes a few steps forward, and having seen Vander's failure to damage Lothar, decides to shoot at the monster instead. Bennie takes out one of his acid-tipped arrows and takes aim at the monster. For 24.
Ooh, it's a good start.
That is a hit. Please roll for damage.
9 piercing damage.
So with the poison-tipped arrow, Bennie lets rip across Lothar Ja'Neth's laboratory, piercing one of the eye stalks of the beholder. Please roll for the acid damage as well, as it failed its saving throw.
So another 7 acid damage, for a total of 16.
The eye stalk withers under the attack of the acid arrow. Please remove one of the acid arrows from your inventory.
For my bonus action, I would like to try something. Using my mage hand, I'd like to take the mirror from my pack and with the mage hand, put it underneath the beam that is coming down from the ceiling and try to deflect where that beam is pointing at.
Bennie, using the power of his mage hand, carries his custom bought mirror up into the air towards the arcane device. The moment it gets in front of the beam, the mirror shatters into dust.
Ooh, nice mirror, that.
7 years bad luck for you.
Been hanging out with Augustus and Vander. I've had enough bad luck as it is. No, that's all I got.
Lothar Ja'Neth coolly strolls from behind the altar.
We're about to find out just how powerful this guy is.
Benny's entire family drops dead, wherever they are.
He hits Bennie for 14.
That is a miss.
He fires the bolt at Bennie, who deftly moves out of the way, dodging the attack. And now the beholder floats towards you. It is too far away to shoot with any of its eye stalks. It holds an action. One of its eye stalks begins to be encircled in darkness and shadow, like it's powering up.
Something to look
Like
forward to.
things that can power up their eyeballs.
Augustus.
Suddenly it feels like walking towards old Mr. Eyeballs isn't the answer.
Feels like the paladin's wavering a bit.
I'm going to walk my 6 heading for Lothar. So I can see where he is. What about the 3 copies? Do I know who I'm shooting at if I want to shoot at him?
You don't.
Oh.
I mean, good news is you're still lacking dexterity. You're likely to miss whoever you aim for.
Also, I've got such great friends. Friends we met along the way.
Build them up, guys. Yeah.
It's always the middle one.
As Vander revealing which one he is.
So I'm going to fire a projectile at the monster, not at the many copies of Lothar. I will fire my trusty longbow.
It's back!
Oh my god.
Here we are again.
I feel sorry for the orcs who are in between this.
Actually, no, sorry. Can I change my plan? I will bless Bennie, Shaq, and Tok.
That was an awesome move.
To every attack and every save.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Augustus winks knowingly at one of the Lothar Ja'Neths to say, I know which one you are, but he doesn't. He just, if in case he's got it right, he thinks it'll look awesome.
Augustus winks at the wrong Lothar. Shaq.
Huzzah. Well, based on what Augustus just done for Shaq, and given that Shaq's primary objective is to kill Lothar, I'm going to go right.
I think you've made my decision for me then, haven't you?
You're off to face Goggles.
That's going to be some weird goggles with, 5 eyes?
Goggles McGee's not going to like you saying that.
I'm going to dash if I can, please. And then I'm going to go a little bit to the left. There you go.
Okay, I don't care if you have got 2 identical copies. A huge orc who's in rage mode, literally bearing down on you, has to be a little bit worrying.
Yeah, and then Shaq with his bonus action would just like to scream at Lothar with another primeval scream that ends with a bit of dribble that comes out of Shaq's mouth. He is very excited to be where he is.
Tok and Tick.
Tok's going to go fight the giant eyeball. Tok and Tick are both going to advance with their shields up, and they're both going to hurl 2 of the small pebble-like missiles that they prepared at the giant eye stalk.
The eyeball that has been gathering energy unleashes. Harry, can you roll a d6, please? 1, 2, 3, Tick. 1, 4, 5, 6, Tok.
Oh, bloody hell.
That sounds awful. Yeah, I rolled a 2.
Tick needs to give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, I think I know what that means. So he makes the save with a 22, fortunately.
Wow.
Tick's actually fought one of these before, so...
Tick raises his shield and the beam just splinters off in many directions, doing no damage.
Right, both of them will make an attack. Tick gets a natural 20 for a crit, and Tok rolls a 12.
Which is a miss. Please roll for Tick's damage.
14 damage for Tok.
Tok and Tick march forward in unison, swords and shields drawn. The beam hits Tick's shield and is deflected off and splinters away as the 2 pull out 2 magic pebbles and in unison throw them at the zombie beholder. Only Tick's hits, doing some nasty damage to the bottom of the floating orb-like creature.
That was nerve-wracking.
Back to the top of the round with Vander.
One of the Vanders has seen the death ray and taps the other Vanders on the shoulder. The 3 of them then turn in the direction of Tick and Tok and start shambling away to assist them.
For a second, I thought you meant away as in,
Shambling away, realizing that their cause is hopeless. Yeah.
just out the door, back into the cave.
Don't worry, Tok. Vander's got your back. Vander extends a hand towards the beholder and attempts to enter its mind with Mind Spike. 22.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
2. not the most powerful, but I do enter his mind. I'm going to target his depth perception.
You enter the mind of the zombie beholder, only to discover not only is its mind completely empty, but it doesn't have any conventional sight.
So I go in there and I find an empty mass of nothingness.
Yes.
I punch it.
Cool. It has no effect.
Okay, well, it does 2 damage, right? Or does it do no damage?
Yeah, it does 2 damage.
Okay, it's a Vander punch then. It doesn't have depth perception, yells Vander.
Bennie.
Again, I think I'm going to continue with the acid arrows because that went quite well last time. So that is 13 hit.
Is a miss. Bennie draws an arrow, fires it, and it, aiming for one of the eye stalks, it just misses by a few inches and clatters into the wall behind.
For my bonus action, having failed with the mirror, I just want to see if it's possible just to use my mage hand just to tinker with the device itself, just to see if I can break it.
So you send the mage hand up. Give me a sleight of hand check. Not quite right, but it'll do a job.
16.
So the mage hand floats up towards the ceiling and you begin to fiddle with various little intricate turnings and cogs. And for the briefest moment, you see a flicker from the energy that is pumping into the back of the head of the orc. But then the beam restarts itself. Lothar, having seen the giant half-orc shack charging towards him, casually strolls away from him before turning on his heels, raising his hands in the air and casting Witch Bolt on Tok.
What a douche.
For 24.
I can't step with that, so that's a hit. Oh, hang on. No. Just thinking that is a ranged attack, though, right? Rather than a saving throw.
Correct.
Okay. Tick is going to use his shield to protect Tok, thus giving disadvantage on the attack. Obviously, this is a magical shield that can reflect disintegration bolts, so...
Dirty 20?
Tick's shield is going to erupt into a golden light that, so Tok will be protected from it.
Lothar unleashes 2 bolts of lightning out of his fingertips. Tick and Tok both put their shields up, with Tok's doubling in size, and the attack is dissipated.
Shield wall!
And the beholder is going to ominously float towards you.
It's going to ominously measure ranges between...
A different eye stalk this time pivots and looks around the room and sees Lothar Ja'Neth moving away from Shack. It then turns to face the orc, firing a beam of white energy at Shack. Shack, can I have a constitution saving throw, please?
Sure can. 15.
The beam smashes into Shaq's shoulder and he just takes it. There is no impact to him. There's a little numbness in the shoulder, but you just twist your arm and shake it off.
Shaq gives a little growl.
Augustus.
Augustus is just gonna have to get closer. And now it is time for the trusty longbow.
Oh my.
So because I'm not sure which Lothar Ja'Neth I'm looking at, I believe, I'm going to have a shot at his eyebally little friend. Right, prepare to howl with laughter or applaud or shut the fuck up.
Literally no one is talking. Everyone's 2 tenths.
17?
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
Amazing.
Oh my. 5 piercing damage, you horrible eyeball bastard.
Augustus, for the first time in weeks, draws his longbow, realizing strategically he's at a disadvantage. He pulls back an arrow as the rest of the group slowly turn their heads to look at him with looks of confusion and disappointment on their face. The arrow fires out of the bow and strikes the beholder in its body, and you see it open its mouth and silently scream. A palpable hit.
I think that is my second arrow of the campaign, and I think the first one came backwards out of the bow and just fell onto the ground.
What we do when we run out of knives.
I'll have another wink at one of the guys.
It's the wrong one again.
Benny's mouth is hanging open in amazement.
Well, actually, I might give my wink to Bennie then.
Oh, you can't reassign winks after the fact.
Have you read the wink card? I've got the wink ability here. I'm looking at the terms and conditions.
Really just rubbing it in Vander's face there, aren't he?
A little bit.
Shaq, frustrated by Lothar's cowardness, will dash again. Damn it, he was just 5 away from me. Okay, so I've got to dash for another 5, annoyingly. He really has pissed Shaq off now, making him run around like this. He doesn't like it. I'm afraid that's all I can do because I've dashed, isn't it? Yeah? Thank you very much.
So Shaq charges straight up right in the face of the 4 Lothar Ja'Neths and just lets out a battle cry directly at them.
Do any of them flinch?
No. Tuck.
Tuck and Tick shift their shields away from protecting Augustus's longbow back towards the Beholder and the Mage, and both of them are going to advance on the Beholder, which they're just in range to get into melee of. So on the way, Tick is going to ping the last magical pebble that he's got at the wizard, rolling a natural 20 as he does so.
Oh my god, the second natural 20.
Tick is on fire tonight.
Always said he's the best member of the party.
Tuck's doing okay, but
If Tick ends up actually on fire due to the lava, that's gonna sound like a really sad little bit of foreshadowing.
Why would you say that?
Please roll for damage.
Okay, so Tick gets a 12 damage. He'll stay 1 out of combat with Doctor.
Tick turns and aims a pebble at Lothar Ja'Neth, just flicking it casually as it fires through, hitting Lothar Ja'Neth in the side of the head before he vanishes with a flicker.
1 down. That's a waste of a critical hit, but so Tuck will attack the Beholder. A 16 to hit,
Is a hit.
and unfortunately rolls a 1, so only 7 magical damage.
Tuck steps into combat with the Beholder and slices himself off a chunk of Cyrat, the undead Beholder.
Vander and his duplicates shamble as close as they can, and turning away to Lothar, Vander says, "Time to switch it up." And I cast Elias' Hideous Laughter.
The custom renamed Tasha's Hideous Laughter. That is a 9.
Amazing.
Vander, having said his piece, waves his hand, and Lothar and his duplicates, who are staring down Shaq, begin to titter.
Amazing.
And Lothar and all of his duplicates fall to the floor and begin writhing around, laughing as the laughter rings through the laboratory. Bennie
is going to use his final acid-tipped arrow again at the Beholder Beast. So that would be a natural 20 for a total of 28.
Awesome.
Huzzah!
Woohoo!
please roll for damage.
Anything Augustus can do.
Don't forget to add sneak attack damage as well.
Oh, which also gets doubled, doesn't it? So yeah.
Oh! That would be a total of 34 damage.
Worth.
Jesus. And Bennie draws the final acid arrow, lets rip across the bubbling hole in the floor of the laboratory, and it pierces the Beholder in its central eye. You see its mouth open as a silent scream comes out yet again. It does not look long for this world.
That's why Benny's top of the kill list.
Bennie pauses very briefly to wink at Augustus, just in case he's paying attention.
He is.
Excellent. But then, while Benny's pleased with the arrow work, he's getting increasingly pissed off with his inability to do anything about this magical beam. So this time around, he's just going to use his mage hand to smash an acid vial against it and see what happens.
But the delicate scientific equipment, you have no idea.
The mage hand lifts the acid vial up into the air and smashes it into the arcane equipment. It begins to bubble and seep all over as the whirring cogs begin to stutter, and you see the beams of energy going into the back of the orc's head begin to stutter and are now flickering. It does not appear to be in full working order.
Pretty amazing turn there.
Yeah.
Very good. Well done.
Okay, so Lothar needs to make a saving throw for his laughter. That's a natural 20.
Oh, no.
Laughing hysterically, he kind of angrily, you see the face turning, and he gets back to his feet.
End of his turn, at least, though, isn't it?
Correct. As he does so, however, you hear a sound coming from the blue energy door to the north.
I mean, there's never anything good that comes from blue energy doors.
Is it a reassuring sound?
Oh, God.
The lava mummy who disappeared through it moments ago reappears, dragging in its hand the unconscious form of Tiara.
Knew we should have offered her a way out.
The 10th. She's the 10th.
The lava zombie sees what is happening and crawls over the altar towards Shaq. First things first, it opens its mouth, and Shaq, you turn around to see the dreadful glare of the lava mummy. Can I have a DC 11 wisdom saving throw, please?
Oh no, I'm immune to the fear. If it's humanoid of the similar size, I'm immune to fear against them.
Lovely, very nice.
Just the casualness about it. Oh yeah, now I'm immune to the fear.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Ignoring the dreadful glare, the mummy then just tries to club you around the back of the head with a 15.
Yep, on the nose.
So that's 6 bludgeoning damage and 10 necrotic damage. All half, please.
Yeah, so 8 damage.
And the beholder. Harry, please roll a d6.
I don't want to.
Either you do or I do.
I roll a 2.
The creature, obviously writhing around in agony, silent agony, turns its eyeball towards Tick once again. Can I have a DC 14 dexterity saving throw, please, for Tick?
Oh, I'm afraid this time Tick only rolls a 5.
The black beam shoots out of the eye of the beholder, smashing into Tick as he looks over towards Lothar Ja'Neth. There is a moment of silence, and then his body disintegrates before your eyes.
Oh.
What just happened?
So Tick has just been vaporized.
Tick's dead.
Ouch.
And Lothar is going to take a legendary action at this point, having recovered from the laughter. He looks around the room and says, "At last, it's time." And you see a bolt coming out of his hand, and one of the orcs, Rasha Kadan, the one who taught Tok chess, suddenly begins to glow with energy and then disintegrates.
Fuck this guy.
Left in her place is a glowing ball of yellowish energy.
Oh, 2 of Tok's closest friends and allies. Poof.
Yeah.
Augustus.
Well, I leg it up there and flick a whole pint load of holy water, sending it soaring over Lothar Ja'Neth's table to hit Tiara in the face. Not to hurt her, but to wake her up and help her defend herself against this situation.
Okay, give me a athletics check, please.
I'm trying to think if there's any way I can argue for advantage.
Actually, it would be disadvantage because you're in combat as well. Please roll at disadvantage.
Great. Thank you so much. Oh, so that's a natural 1, isn't it?
So Augustus runs up, pulls the stopper off the holy water and throws it at Tiara in an attempt to wake her up. The vial of holy water shatters onto the floor and the water seeps out, having missed her entirely.
Any chance she wakes up because she smells my cologne?
No, but nice try.
I'm wearing a lot.
We've run out of basic supplies, but somehow Augustus still has a lot of cologne.
Where's Holy Water by Dior?
Shaq.
Yes, finally, Shaq can actually do what God intended. Finally getting hold of Lothar. Shaq recklessly, gloriously, and happily goes into Lothar with his great axe. I'm going to be employing my great weapon master on this as well, please, sir. It's reckless.
Please roll at advantage.
18.
That is a hit, and it is a hit on Lothar Ja'Neth himself, not one of his duplicates.
Excellent. Damage-wise, it's 24, plus my other 8 on top of that is 32. Beg your pardon.
Whoa. Good God.
Yeah.
So Lothar Ja'Neth, having just killed one of Shaq's teammates in cold blood, he roars and swings his great axe towards the mass of Lothar Ja'Neths who are currently stood before him, hitting clearly the Lothar Ja'Neth. He does not look all that well, and all of his duplicates mirror that too.
Yeah, that's not critical. You wait until I do a critical.
Whoa. So, good God.
With my bonus action, at this point, I just want to scream at the Lothar I've just hit as loud as I can, and saliva drips onto his face this time.
Tuck.
Tok is going to carry on attacking desperately with his longsword, but he doesn't roll very well, so he's got only a 10 to hit.
Misses, unfortunately. The writhing beholder is able to avoid the attack of Tok.
Bonus action, Tok will prepare some more magic pebbles.
Back to the top of the round with Vander.
Vander's seen Tick disintegrated. His 3 visages turn to look at the creature responsible, and together they march up behind Tok. At the same time, all three draw their flintlocks from under their robes, and saying, "Bastard," they pull the trigger. Yeah. Ooh. Natural 20. And it's 23.
Please roll for damage.
That is 7 plus 2, so 9.
Vander lets rip with the flintlock and takes a chunk out of the zombie beholder. It is still alive. Bennie.
Bennie, having seen one of the orcs getting evaporated, has decided it's also pretty critical to destroy this mechanism. So I would like to try to shoot it with an arrow.
Please roll to hit.
14.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
9.
Bennie, having seen the chaos unfold, steps forward, draws an arrow, and just aims it directly at the arcane device hanging above the orcs. He fires in the direct spot where the acid is still eating away at the cogs and mechanisms. There is a loud creaking sound, and the device collapses from the ceiling into bits and falls down into the lava, breaking the connection with the orcs, who are hanging over still.
Awesome.
That is great work.
And then my bonus action can just about reach leave. Having seen what Augustus was trying but not managing to do, I'm going to use my mage hand to attempt to slap
Augustus.
to slap Tiara around the face to try to rouse her.
Your mage hand kind of floats through the carnage of the battlefield, and with a smack, you hit Tiara in the face. Augustus and Shaq, you see her head suddenly jerk up as her eyes open. Tiara is now awake.
We need you on our side this time, Tiara.
Lothar, seeing the damage done to him by Shaq, moves slowly away from the orc. You may take a attack of opportunity if you wish.
I very much wish so. 16.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
Yeah. Plus my 18, 25 plus 8, 33.
You swing with a rageful shout as this creature tries to get away from you, and your axe goes clean through Lothar Ja'Neth. And with a flicker, he vanishes. Another one of his duplicates has been taken out.
Good God. That's an insane amount of damage. We should have got a barbarian on our team from the beginning.
Lothar, having seen Vander firing his flintlock at the beholder, raises his hands as lightning crackles out. That is a 27.
Okay. I'm going to use Lucky.
Okay. This is the first time you've used this, right?
It sounds like he's made it up, right?
If someone makes a roll against me, I can roll a d20 and force you to use my one if obviously the roll is worse. 11.
So that's 19.
You've got your shield.
I do have my shield stuff, but I also have my duplicates.
You do. Please roll a d20.
9. I think I'm okay.
The crackling lightning bolt hits one of the duplicates, which just flickers and vanishes.
Tom, can I know how much damage he did to that duplicate?
I suppose so. He did 3 lightning damage.
That's fine. He can crack on.
Kenny, what does that mean?
Nothing.
The zombie is now going to attempt to attack Shaq.
Bring it.
18 plus 5, 23.
Yeah, just squeaks it in.
I can do protection.
Okay. Does 7 hit?
Noi.
Please take no damage. The creature swings a clubbing hand, and Augustus just casually raises his hand back without even looking, and you hear a kind of dong as it hits his shield.
Excellent. Shaq looks approvingly at Augustus. Nice work.
Augustus gives him a wink.
And the zombie beholder. Hawk, can I have a DC 14 wisdom saving throw, please?
Or plus a d4. So that'll be a grand total of 5.
Tok, you are hit with a beam of kind of pinkish white energy. It hits you, and all of a sudden, the rest of you hear the familiar sound of Tok's knees knocking together as you are scared of the beholder.
I mean, that seems like a pretty legitimate response at this point, doesn't it?
We are not winning the battle over here.
And Lothar is going to use his legendary action for this turn, and he is going to target Bennie. Bennie, can I have...
Right done.
Well done. Can I have an intelligence saving throw, please?
I get an extra d4, don't I, on my saving throws, right?
Yeah.
That's 26.
Lothar raises a hand in the same fashion that he did when he disintegrated the orc and aims it at Bennie. A beam of energy flies across and hits you. It was just about to hit you, and you are able to dodge out of the way, steal your mind. The beam kind of follows you, wraps around your head, but you're able to shake it off with your sheer force of intelligence.
Can I demonstrate said intelligence by giving him the finger and going straight out?
That's very good.
Augustus.
Right, I'm going to attack this lava beast. Is there a way I can step to get advantage given Shaq's position?
You've already got it because I have it as a primal instinct.
Magic? So I'll mutter Ember so that Ember does not burn while I do this, because that seems like a silly plan. Can I sort of narrativize the attack in some way?
You can look. Well, let's roll it first.
Well, I want to use 2 swords.
You do have 2 swords.
Aha.
You'd have to put your shield away and draw your other sword, and then you could have 2 attacks.
Very specifically, what he's going to do is put the 2 like hilts together and try and use them like a pair of scissors to lop this guy's head off.
Gladiator style. I like it.
24.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
6 piercing damage.
So yeah, roll at advantage for your second attack as well, please.
17.
Is a hit.
5 piercing.
So Augustus puts his shield away, draws his second rapier, putting the 2 rapiers together, begins to try and slice it at the lava mummy like a giant pair of scissors. The lava mummy's hide is far too thick for you to snip its head clean off. But you see some kind of damage to the skin as you desperately slice away. It's like using child's scissors, the protected type.
That analogy it sounds like a very good description of what Augustus is doing.
The worst haircut he's ever had.
Shaq.
Yes, continuing with his mission, Shaq is going to leave battle with the lava mummy.
It does not hit.
He'll go at Lothar again, please. All the bells and whistles, reckless at advantage with my great weapon.
Is that a crit?
Oh my god.
Well, bye-bye, Lothar.
I didn't roll that at advantage either, so...
That is a natural 20. Please roll for damage.
Holy shit balls! This is going to be nuts.
That's 18 plus 8, 26.
Cool.
And then I've plus 3.
So plus another 6 is 32. Yeah. Have you done your rage on it as well?
Not yet. I'm just trying to get through.
Hold your horses. There's more to come.
This is starting to feel like strapping a spear to the end of a tow missile.
Another 8 takes you to 40. And then what's your rage damage?
Oh my god.
Plus another 26 all in.
Oh my god!
Holy crap.
Shaq, with a scream of rage at his fallen comrades, eyeballs Lothar Ja'Neth, runs away from the swinging attack of a mummy, swings his mighty great axe called Jaquil, and swings directly through Lothar Ja'Neth, who flickers and vanishes.
Oh!
There are no longer any duplicates.
Oh my god.
All of that for that. Wow, that's brutal. Well, anyway, fortunately, because that was a critical and my great weapon master feat, Shaq can use his bonus action to attack again. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So it goes to 18.
Once again, Lothar, realizing the panic he's in, twists his hand and a shield appears to block the attack of Shaq.
Yeah, thank you.
Jesus Christ, absolute maniac. Terrifying. Tuck.
Tuck swings his sword and remembers this time to add the bonus for being blessed,
Oh, dude.
getting a 23 to hit.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
Aye. That's a 13 magic damage from his glowing longsword.
Tuck, please tell us a story.
Right, in a flurry of blows, Tuck is going to slice off all 4 of the eye stalks that are currently actually active, and then with a final attack he's going to sort of like do a duck and a roll underneath the beholder and skewer it from beneath.
Absolutely amazing. And the beholder's eyes, those that are left, or the one that is left, shuts as it dies.
Tuck's head looks around a bit and then locks onto to Lothar, and he'll move up into melee combat with him on the other side from Shaq.
From the north, the rest of you see movement as Tiara gets to her feet. She scans the battlefield, trying to understand what's going on, and her eyes lock on Vander. and she begins to sprint. There is a bam, and she appears in front of Vander, summoning in her hand a flaming blade as she launches an attack.
Shit.
Why did we try and wake her up again? I'm never quite sure about that.
Fuckers love releasing Tiara.
Yeah.
That is a 26.
I'm going to cast Lucky.
How many of those do you get?
3.
Please roll a d20 and add 9.
19. Oh, God.
Vander, please take 20 fire damage.
Can I raise my shield as a reaction?
Yes, you can.
And now you have to work out whether you're hitting me or the other me. That's a me roll.
That is a you roll. Please roll a d20.
Okay, come on, duplicate. Take one for the team. I need to roll 11 and above. Oh, God. That's on me. I take 20, is it?
Yeah.
That is not well.
The flaming sword goes straight through the stomach of Vander. Finally, I'm going to get my revenge.
I told you when I had the chance.
Back to the top round with Vander.
Vander disappears from the blade. I misty step.
And then walks 5 feet to the south.
As I hobble off, I turn looking pretty injured. With a single duplicate remaining to me, I turn a malevolent eye backwards towards Tiara and cast Mind Spike. That is 18.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
Sick.
Vander bamfs away, hobbles, a bloodstain appearing in his stomach. He turns around and waves the cane at Tiara and attacks her mind.
I'm going to try and attack her memories of when I tortured her.
She forgets why she really doesn't like Vander anymore.
Absolutely. We're going to a new defense strategy.
She looks very unwell. Bennie.
What's going on with the orcs now?
The orcs are now just suspended by chains over the lava pit below. They're still unconscious.
Doesn't seem like there's a great deal I can do there.
Where does murdering Tiara sit in your priorities?
Pretty high.
Oh, peanut gallery, shut up.
It's slightly below rescuing the orcs. I am going to head south towards Vander. Having run out of acid-tipped arrows, I'm going to reach into my stash of poison arrows and aim a shot at Tiara.
Go.
19.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
It's 7.
Yep, so Bennie begins to sprint towards Vander, who's looking unwell, fires an arrow across the lava pit, which strikes Tiara in the calf, but does not pin her to the ground. She lets out a scream of rage, but her eyes are only for Vander.
Bennie, a healing potion. His hand is outstretched.
Hey, peanut gallery!
Bennie shouts to Tiara, "You picked wrong horse, Tiara, and you're going to regret it."
Is that the whole of the smack talk?
Yeah. I'm going to use my mage hand to provide Vander with a healing potion.
And that is 2d4 plus 2 healing.
7.
Vander, you may take 7 back. Lothar is going to raise a hand and point it at Shaq.
Bring it.
Shaq, can I have an intelligence saving throw, please?
You bit.
Remember your plus D4.
Peanut gallery!
Oh, that's a mechanical thing.
Yeah, peanut gallery!
It might not matter. What happens to Shaq?
What did you roll, please, Shaq?
Well, I've got a 4. I've got a -3. -3 modifier on intelligence, so
Oh, you nearly joined the negative saving throw club.
it was pretty close.
Shaq, please take 20 psychic damage.
It's the only damage I'm not immune to, or sorry, resistant to.
Can I use Rebuke the Violent on Lothar here?
I would imagine you probably can.
Yeah.
I wag a finger at him. Naughty, naughty, you'll get caughty.
And by simply wagging a finger, you see Lothar bent double as he screams in pain, taking the full 20 radiant damage.
I like the idea that Augustus isn't angry, just disappointed.
The lava mummy is going to attack Augustus
Bring it on.
for an 8.
Even the GM's forgetting his name or he is. This guy's just, ego destroyed.
Augustus.
Augustus now brings both swords round in a wide arc and brings them together either side of the guy's neck. He's had a hack, it didn't work, so he takes a run up this time and swings both swords to try and de-head this fine gentleman.
Please roll the first attack.
25 with first roll.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
8.
Augustus, please tell us a story.
Yes. So, Augustus has been thinking about a new thing called the scissor kill. He brings both swords round. One gets there a bit first, so it's a bit lopsided, but the head pops neatly off, at which point Augustus kicks the fire mummy in the chest, so the head is now just hanging in midair on its own, and he's now going to attempt a scissor kick, football style. He's going to kick the head at Tiara, because Tiara has annoyed him, because we tried to be nice to her, and she's not been very nice back.
Van Basten it.
What a shot that would be. That's got to be
It's a long shot, I appreciate
40 yards into the top corner.
Give me an acrobatics check, please.
Advantage?
Absolutely not. Good lord.
Always worth asking.
6.
So Augustus, attempting his magnificent scissor volley kick thing, slices the head off the lava mummy, spins his foot, kicks it, and the head just falls into the hole and down into the lava as the mummy dies.
I mean, it was still badass.
Shaq.
Yes, I would like to carry on as I was with Lothar. 15 plus my 6, 21.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
9 plus my 18 is 27, plus 8 is 35.
With no duplicates, the barbarian Shaq begins to hack at Lothar Ja'Neth. His purplish robes are starting to get covered with the kind of thick black blood, and you can hear him screaming in pain as he takes the hit. He's so close to being dead, but he isn't.
Thank you.
Tok.
Okay, well, I was hoping that you're going to kill him so I could go deal with Tiara. I think we need to end this guy immediately. First one. That is a 19 to hit.
Is a hit. He has no more shield left.
And that'll be 9 magical damage from the longsword.
Tok draws his sword back as he and Shaq begin to double team Lothar, hacking away at the evil necromancer as he falls to one knee. He turns around to look up at the automaton, shocked at what this even is. And he looks you in the eye and says, "Who are you?"
Tok's not going to respond by talking to him. He's just going to hit him in the face with a longsword.
Tok's longsword goes straight through Lothar Ja'Neth's face, popping out the other side as the last remnants of life of the necromancer disappear, and he collapses to the floor, dead.
Tok will give Shaq a brief curt nod of his head, and will immediately, his head again will swivel around to look at Tiara, shield up, and he'll advance upon her.
Tiara, having seen the approach, spins and locks into combat with Tok. Oh, it's a natural 1.
Wonderful.
She swings her blade, but Tok just quickly moves out of the way. Top of the round with Vander.
Tables have turned a long way since Vander's last turn.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Revenge?
Vander changes direction and begins hobbling back towards Tiara. I'm going to, once again, mind spike her.
Please roll the attack.
Oh, it's a 26.
Which is very much a hit. Please roll for damage.
It's a 3.
Vander, you raise your cane and you begin to attack her mind again, presumably still targeting the memories of you torturing her in the past. You see her kind of grip the back of her head. Tok, you can see her face is sweaty and there are kind of bloodshot eyes. Bennie.
Bennie takes a step forward and decides he needs to just try to finish this. He says, "You've had your chance, Tiara. You've had lots of them. But I'm afraid your chances are running out." And that was a 29 to hit.
Is a hit. Please roll for damage.
13 total.
Bennie, please tell us the story.
Amazing.
Bennie draws back an arrow. It goes flying across the pit of lava and embeds itself into Tiara's neck. Hitting an artery, she dies instantly. Never even knows what happened.
Yes, she does. There is a ripple of energy, a slight shake to the room, and 4 of you hear the sound of sleigh bells, followed by the voice of Papa Uncamus.
You succeeded. I thought you would. You have my thanks, and of course, the wish. Keep it safe with you, and when you're ready, all you have to do is utter the words, "I wish," and I shall grant whatever it is you want. Don't waste it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have people to re-educate on the wonders of Ungarmas.
that I'm taking a wee holiday first. But thank you, my friends, and goodbye.
There is another ripple of multicolored energy that waves around the laboratory, and after a short rumbling, a section of wall to the north collapses, revealing a shaft through which, for the first time in weeks, you see sunlight beaming down and an escape from Verocare.
Bennie shouts, "Sunlight! Real sunlight!" and just sprints towards the shaft of light and just kind of stands with his face lifted, drinking in the sunshine and not really paying any attention to anything else for a brief moment.
Yeah, Augustus is straight over there with him.
Tok is currently bent down on one knee, sifting through the cremation of ash and dust was once Tick.
Don't I feel like a shit now?
Yeah.
Vander looks towards the sunlight, but then sees Tok and begins shuffling over in his direction.
While you're shuffling over there, there is a little rustling coming from behind a barrel, and Lenny the dog appears, runs over to you, Vander, and begins to kind of lick at wounds on your legs and on your body. The wounds heal themselves. You may replenish your hit points.
Whoa, okay. Vander looks as though he's going to shoo Lenny away, and then he sees and realizes what Lenny is really doing and that the healing is happening to his body. Vander allows Lenny to lick his wounds and looks with interest at the dog. What are you?
That's dog for a dog.
Augustus casts Detect Evil.
Augustus, your eyes roll into the back of your head as you begin to sense the area around you. The ground you're stood on is desecrated ground. Obviously, it belonged to a necromancer. What is unexpected is that you can sense that there is a singular celestial being in the room with you.
Interesting.
So Augustus, to anyone who's listening, says, "Gentlemen, I sense there is a celestial being here in the room with us. Can anyone suggest what it might be? Tok, perhaps your cat totem?"
I think I may have found the origin of that mystery,
Vander says, pointing his cane at Lenny.
But it's not possible. Lenny, we put Lenny in a bag of holding. It's not possible. Tok, he couldn't have got out, could he? Couldn't have got out.
Well, I have taken a rather sharp blow to the head after you again revived one of our known nemesis.
You're welcome.
Of course, but I have to say I have just witnessed Lenny heal. This doesn't seem to me to be the property of your average mutt, so I would suggest there is more to Lenny than meets the eye.
Tok, can you open a bag and see if he's in there? What's going on?
Tok will open his bag and look inside. Bennie, he is no longer attached to the portable demi-plane of the bag. He is being sent elsewhere.
Oh. So, let me get this straight. We're saying that right there, and Bennie points to the dog, that's definitely Lenny, and he's a celestial being.
I do not possess canine accreditation processes. It appears to be Lenny the dog.
I'm going to use my researcher traits to see if I can derive any further information about Lenny.
Vander, with your studies as a tyro from the Rojan Council, you are aware of the three distinct creatures. They are usually categorizations of the spell Find Familiar.
Ah,
Says Vander with sudden understanding.
I cannot say what Lenny is, but I suspect he may be the product of a familial spell. What that means, I'm afraid, is that we must at least consider the possibility that Lenny is someone's familiar.
Bennie, can you test sending Lenny to the demi-plane and retrieving him?
That's totally safe, is it, right?
I believe so.
Okay, well, if you're sure then, and I follow Tok's instruction.
You click your fingers, and with a, he disappears.
And I do it again.
And he reappears.
There you go. I don't know what that proved, but that seems good, doesn't it?
It appears the collar is still working.
Illuminating.
Tok will go have a look at the collar and see if there's any damage to it.
Do an investigation. Your passive investigation will be high enough. You don't need to roll for it. The collar seems to be undamaged and in completely working order, thus explaining why the click of the fingers sent him away and brought him back.
Vander, do I understand you to be saying Lenny is someone's familiar, but not Benny's familiar, because that's Missy, right?
I am indeed saying that. If a creature is someone's familiar, it would be difficult to imagine a scenario in which they were not aware of this.
Well, that's not possible, is it? Because, my understanding of familiars is you've got to be near them all the time, so it can't be familiar.
I have heard of the possibility of familiars traveling greater distances from their significant other, so that might be possible.
Just wanted to just quickly detect some evil. I'm not sure I've really contributed anything here. I think I've just taken us off down some weird path where, Benny's dog might actually be, blood bound to someone else. If so, don't know who.
I don't know what you're so sad about. I mean, you've got one step closer to proving he's a goddamn homing beacon.
I don't want him to be my stupid dog.
Benny goes over to Lenny and bends down and pets him affectionately. He's just Lenny, isn't he? He's a good boy. You're a good boy, aren't you, Lenny? And look, he's helping you, Vander, so...
Yes, though I have to confess it's rare that a dog possesses the powers of a healer.
But useful. Rare, but useful.
Oh, yes. Most useful. A little perplexing, perhaps, but very useful.
Is a very good boy, aren't you, Lenny? A very good boy.
I would say extremely good, and a little suspicious.
I'll accept that we need to find out more.
How kind.
But for now, is Lenny the dog?
Yes, let's overlook this rather worrying development.
Okay, then we're in agreement. There's a lot of orcs dangling in the air. We should probably do something about that.
Indeed, we should free our compatriots.
While you guys have been having this discussion, Shaq has been basically attempting to brute strength drag the orcs from their weird pseudo puppetry positioning.
Not before Shaq, when finishing off Lothar with his final part of his rage, turning him into the utter Swiss cheese. Overkill. We've now got a blancmange on the floor where his top third would be, because Shaq was so driven by what was going on and impressed by the killing. Shaq sees the final kill as like the master hit, so he gives you a nod of approval, as if to say, "I finished him off. I finished him. I got him just for you."
Doc will walk over and help Shaq start trying to get his friends down off the.
I grab Axel out. Axel, brother, are you alive?
After removing Axel from his hanging position and kind of gently slapping him around the face, he comes to.
Shaq, it is good to see you.
Good stuff. Excellent.
And he reaches up and kind of pats you in the face.
Well, it's great to see you.
We are alive?
Yes, we are. We are indeed. We did take some casualties, but it looks like we've got out of, and I sort of gesture towards the fellowship here.
The birds have helped.
Okay, if you say so. Well, it looks like we found our way out, and now we can start making our way northwest as intended. We've beaten Lothar, we've broken that weird spell that was keeping us here, and we can get out.
Yes, it is good. Let us wake the others and get the 13th Company ready to move. There's no more time to waste.
Fantastic. He grabs his brother over his arm, and then with his other arm reaches around the back of his pouch and pulls a bushel of apples, and him and his brother share an apple each. Brother looks a little bit disappointed, but Shaq's just chewing on the apple like a hippo would a watermelon, with pips and juice flowing down his face. He's happy. This is the happiest Shaq's ever been, as far as you've seen. And it's a red apple, because he loves his red apples.
Shay, your half-brother, wanders over to Augustus.
See, I told you, didn't I? Didn't I say he was a little bit eccentric? But he does a good job.
Vander walks over to Lothar.
Fascinating. Really does look like cheese.
So working together, you guys bring the orcs down and you have them woken up. Axel takes a knee after hearing what's happened to Rasha Kadan and beckons the rest of the 13th Company to take a knee with him in honor of their fallen compatriot.
Taking a knee with him in solidarity with the rest of them.
Doc will come over and take a knee with them. Seems to be the thing to do.
Yeah, Benny will join in that as well. Just kind of slight sidling onto the end.
Vander can't take a knee, but he goes over and dips his head a quarter of an inch or so.
In deference to Vander's inflexibility, Augustus mirrors Vander's head bob.
Vander bobs his head at Augustus.
Augustus winks at Vander.
Vander blinks back. Checkmate.
Are you winking during a memorial?
Fuck's sake.
Sorry, Mickey, for this horrendous tangent.
Axel, after the short moment of silence, takes a bag and hands it to Tock.
Automaton, Russia always spoke warmly about your chess matches. She referred to you as a worthy opponent. Please, take her personal chess set. I can think of no one more deserving of it than the man who slayed Lothar Ja'Neth.
You have my thanks, Axel. Run home.
It seems the bird group were more proficient at fighting. I wish to thank all of you for proving that not everyone from Cantioconathalon are untrustworthy. It has been an honor.
Pleased to hear that, Centurion. Though of course our endeavors were not without their own losses.
Vander's eye flicks towards Tock.
I wonder if you might reconsider the offer I once made for you.
And with that, Vander's hand reaches into his robes and produces again a small piece of parchment.
Axel reads the parchment and then looks at you, and then to Tock, and then to Bennie.
We shall consider your offer.
And he folds the parchment and puts it under his armor.
You know, it's funny. All legions of Crimson Reach Army have 13th Company as tradition. No more, no less. Yet as I look at you, I see honorable allies of my company. It seems fitting, as we are breaking traditions of mistrust. We should break traditions of order, too. So, on this day, I am using the power invested in me by the Imperator Jaquil to name you the Bird Group, the 14th Company of the 9th Legion.
And he tears off a piece of his clothing and ties it, Vander, around your arm. And then he does the same for Tock, and the same for Bennie, and the same for Augustus.
We are honored to have received this from you. I believe a bond has been struck.
And Vander bobs his head again.
One last thing, Bird Group. If you happen to find yourself near River City in the weeks ahead, look out for the 13th Company.
We will. Always good to have a friend.
Some rest and some planning is needed before we continue. But first, we must leave this desecrated monument to the dead. 13th Company, we move.
Axel summons the rest of the 13th Company and begins to lead them up the shaft and out of Ferrokir.
Vander produces a bottle from his robes and then casts telekinetic hand. The hand scoops up the ashes and pours them delicately into the bottle. Vander caps the bottle and moves in the direction of Tock. Passing Tock the bottle.
I'm truly sorry for your loss, Tock.
So Tock was still watching the 13th leave, but he'll look at the bottle of ash in his hand. Thank you, Vander, though I will still seek repairs. Tock will stow the bottle very carefully in his bag.
I think if repairs are to be sought, they must surely take place outside of this place of darkness. I suggest we move on, but maybe just before that, we check to see if Lothar left anything behind of value.
Indeed.
I was going to say, when you said it's time for us to observe our own rituals, I assumed that meant looting.
Lothar thinks he desecrated this place well.
Can I have an investigation check at advantage, please?
That is a 27.
Ooh, okay then. The four of you, having paid your respects to the 13th Company and to Tick, begin ransacking the place. A thorough investigation leads you to discover the following things. On the smudged remains of Lothar Ja'Neth's body, looking a lot like a blancmange, you find a spell book. The book is filled with language you can't read, obviously personalized to Lothar, but you understand that 2 weeks worth of study and you'll be able to use this spell book and the spells kept within it.
If Tock picks that up, obviously he's going to hand that to Vander.
Tock, you find half a dozen tourmaline gemstone pebbles.
Okay, Tock will stow them carefully.
Bennie, in the corner of the room, you find a chest which has a beautiful golden lock. Having checked for traps, you realize it's unlocked, you flip it open, and you are met with the warming golden glow of gold coins. 1,500 of them.
There's a lot of cash here, lads. and I distribute it evenly.
Did I not promise you, Bennie? Stick with me, and riches abound,
says Vander, looking at the enormous wealth.
Well, that is delayed gratification. That promise was in chapter 1.
Augustus, while you're looking, you find a selection of beautiful gemstones that your aristocratic eye identifies as being worth about 250 gold coins themselves.
And Augustus shares out the gemstones. Also, I hand 100 of my gold to Tok and say, "Thank you, Tok. This is the gold I owe you for Pegasus and Mr. Pippin. May God have mercy on their souls."
Tok will look slightly quizzical at it, but will at the names. "Thank you, Augustus. You are a man of your word."
You also find a barrel of beer covered in dwarven runes, which Vander, you translate as the name of the beer, which is Brewer's Droop. The beer is completely full and appears to be good to drink.
Gentlemen, it appears that Lothar wasn't all bad.
You have found soup.
A very special strain of soup. You'll enjoy this.
And Vander uncaps one of the barrels and takes a swig.
It's kind of a nutty, kind of earthy ale. It's quite delicious, quite foamy, very dwarven.
I suggest we cart this into the sunshine and enjoy a well-earned piss-up.
What's poetry for piss-up?
I know.
Tok, you find 30 pounds of mithril ore. This can be smelted into mithril ingots at a conversion rate of 2-1. On top of that, you also find 5 single mithril ingots, each weighing 1 pound in weight. And Vander, tucked away in a drawer in the corner of the room, you find a copper flask. As you pick it up and look at it, you can see detailed engravings on the flask, which show a number of strange creatures being dragged into a visual representation of the flask. You've heard tale of the copper flask and its greater brother, the iron flask. This is a magically infused item that can trap a creature inside of it. You may then pop the lid off and the creature will appear in front of you and do your bidding for 1 hour. You don't know what creature is inside.
Fascinating.
Vander weighs the flask in his hand before it disappears into his robes.
You also find a selection of food and drinks, which are all edible.
Let's get this barrel up into sunshine then. Bennie's Beverages of the World tour continues.
As Vander moves towards the sunlight, he passes the body of Tiara and stabs into her neck with his knife.
It's always worth making sure with this one. I don't want another repeat.
Augustus sees that and just shrugs and thinks, no one has ever had more chances than we gave Tiara.
As you reach the entrance to the shaft, the sunlight begins to burn your eyes, and then it hits you. The sweet smell of grass after rain. The blazing sun beats down upon you while a breeze cools you down. In the sky above, the sun is starting to set, and you find yourselves in a beautiful grassy area with a number of trees, surrounded on all sides by the Moonshadow Mountains. Natural paths head to the east and west. You guys settle down under a tree near a babbling brook.
I turn the tap on the barrel and pour out beers for everyone. I guess it's a cheers then. That's quite something. I think that Lothar Ja'Neth he weren't nothing, were he? You were a powerful man. We've bested him. I say, yeah, cheers, so to us. And then I glance at Tok and look a bit downcast and say, and to Tick as well.
To fallen friends.
And Vander raises his glass also.
Indeed. Tok will also raise a glass, and again, the little, straw will flick down from under his jaw so he can take a small sample.
Tok, Tick gave his life in a noble cause. We have extinguished a great evil from this world.
Indeed, the necromancer Lothar Ja'Neth was evil.
And now, he's cheese.
Evil cheese. At some point, whilst everyone's sitting enjoying themselves, Tok will approach Augustus. Augustus, I have a question. I wish for guidance.
Ask away, dear Tok.
We have a powerful boon from Papa Ungumas a wish. I have a conflict. I want to use the wish to revive Tick. Yet, I believe this is not correct. It should be used for the many, not for one. Yet, I do not want that, Augustus. I want Tick returned.
Certainly, Tok, it's a challenging ethical puzzle, and as with all such things, I cannot offer you a clear answer. I think it is entirely right for you to want the return of your creator, and I think we should discuss it with the group. It is no easy thing for you to give the wish in some other cause.
Vander's ear pricks up at the conversation, and he shuffles over.
A difficult situation, gentlemen. Perhaps I could be of some service. I understand your feelings, Tok, and how your wants will drive you to bring your friend, your creator, Tick back. Let me tell you, death is not something to be feared, and wishes are rarer still than even a life. We have miles to go and promises to keep. Might I suggest we at least consider what good we can do with this wish before we make it?
Indeed, Vander. Your suggestion is the logical choice. We could request for safe passage, transportation for ourselves, the New Haven villagers, and the Sterling airship, and all aboard. We could travel to a suitable valley and have Papa Ungumas cast a mythal upon it.
So many possibilities, but first, I believe we have a long walk. I suggest we make our way in the direction of the Haveners. I confess I yearn to find out what became of my automatons, the ship, and the people we set out to save. Perhaps we can discuss this further on our journey.
Again, I find myself agreeing with Vander. I think we need to know what there is to save before we make any decisions about what we try to save.
And Bennie needs some sun.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that you are already improving from your zombie-ish appearance of just yesterday. A walk and some sunshine and potentially some soup, and you'll be right as rain.
Thanks, Vander.
Don't mention it.
You're looking the picture of elf yourself.
Vander flushes.
Why, thank you.
Vander points his cane down a track that leads down the countryside and then up a steep slope and over the horizon.
I believe this way is best. Tok, I don't suppose I could prevail on you.
You wish for a lift, Vander?
I do.
Tok will stow all the heavy items in the bag of holding and will lift Vander up for a piggyback.
Way!
And you guys begin to make your way to the east towards New Haven. Augustus, as you walk behind the rest, a little voice in your ear, the familiar voice of Tyr, who whispers to you, "Free. At last I'm free." You make your way to the east in search of New Haven, finally free of Veracruz, successful in your battle against Lothar Ja'Neth, and short one automaton. And we will end it there.
You've been listening to Dice Company's Small Embers, starring Dave Windust as Bennie Quez, Alex Morrison as Augustus Zeno, Charlie Blackadder as Vander Finnick, and Harry King as Tok, with Tom Patrick as your Dungeon Master.
The humans of Dice Company would like to thank the following sweethearts for their support. Marshall 001, Marky B, Darcy Thompson, Jenny the War Camel, Stephen Sakura, Nori Gosler, Mickey Arnold, Happy Daddy Scotty, Tika, SJ Phionics, Richard Ungumas, Rabbi Camel, Team Vander, Paris Hakar, Path Pursuit, Julia Zeno, Shovels, Mama Strange, Queenie, Liz Beckett, Axel Runholm, and Chris from North London.
Vander looks like he's going to shoo Bennie away until he feels the healing sensation as Bennie licks his wounds. He then permits Bennie to lick while looking with interest. Oh, sorry, I'll do that again. I see why you're laughing at me.
See, I totally didn't notice that.
Fuckers, you just let me carry on.
I did put my hand up at one point, but I thought, he's going. I mean, fans are going to be shipping the Vander and Bennie love story. Which is not going to help.
He allows him to lick.
Feel lonely. Okay.
Have I got everyone's attention? There's a lot of stuff happening. People are licking people. People are praying over ash. People are looking at sunlight. It's all going on.
I mean, also, just while we're pausing here, I think the reaction of everyone to Augustus seeing sunshine for the first time, then his eyes instantly rolling into the back of his head. I mean, I'm going to feel the same way at the end of British winter, is all I'm saying.
1,000%. Unfortunately, I've just discovered that winter never ends.
Always winter, never Christmas.
Congratulations, everyone. You are all level 5.
Amazing.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Tok is like the second most dexterous member of our party. He's a better dancer than Augustus currently.
You say. Let's have a dance off. Let's see. Have I just caught you talking about me and then you weren't polite enough to stop when I rejoined?
No, but we could certainly go in that direction. Glad to hear out. Let the abuse reign.
So what's happened in my absence?
Nothing, it was your turn.
Is that true?
Yeah, subtext, fuck you.
Wasn't very subtexty.
I'm still working on my subtext.
Lore.
Thanks for listening. Please consider supporting Dice Company on Patreon, where for the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to a whole other show, Extra Roll, as well as an ad-free listening experience. The Dice Company Discord server, along with our socials, can be found on our Linktree in the show notes. If you enjoyed this chapter, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to recommend us to your friends. If you didn't like it, recommend us to your enemies. And we'll see you next time on Dice Company.